Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode on Din's Talk. Let's Talk Soul. I am back from a sacred pause. Well, you would know, but by the time I'm recording this, I have been off social media, mainly Instagram, actually, but in general, social media for over a week. And that was kind of like a forced slash intentional pause. And I will get into that in this episode and why it happened, what all my revelations were, what my takeaways are, and my process that I'm still going through. And I want to share this raw, real, and honest. As you know, guys, this is how I love doing it because I always, always appreciate it when someone else out there sharing their real story, what they're going through, and not the polished version, because this is the real stuff that actually helps us to grow, to understand ourselves better, and to, not feel so alone in whatever processes whatever we are going through. So reverting back, there was lots happening in my life and, business wise, lots of expansion internally, lots of changes. But one thing I funny enough, that's the one thing I embody and, guide other people with is I ignored my body in a way, not on the emotional level, energetically and spiritually, but the biological part. There were like lots of signs for me to slow down, to change something in the routine, to do different things. And one thing that I kind of took more lightly in the moment than I should have was prolonged bleeding. And I had this several times now over the past year, so much so that it lasted up to 2 months. And it really, really takes a toll on the body. And whilst at the beginning, I knew that was some letting go and shedding and also my body coming back into a cycle that I haven't experienced before. I got to the point just a week ago where I was again in a prolonged bleeding phase that I just couldn't move anymore in a way. Obviously I could move, but it was almost like I had no energy left. I felt so depleted, like almost like, a vampire sucked me out, but as in like the life force energy was gone. Like literally even touching my phone or going onto my laptop felt like it's kryptonite. And it was really like heavy. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I also know for myself that when I start to, pile up notes or procrastinate on things that I'm out of alignment, it has nothing to do with that I don't have discipline or I don't love what I do, but there's something out of alignment. So, and you know how it is, you're in it, you want to get through certain things, you want to show up, and it's all coming from a good place. But I was completely ignoring the biological part of my body, that what I studied. Because of course, if you have prolonged bleeding, I am losing blood. My iron levels are going low. And there's also a lot of things that the body needs more of, like sleep. I need to actually go more inward, right? All the ladies out there, you know what happens when you are on your moon. You just want to be more inward. You want to be more in your space and not so outward. And I was doing the opposite. I had so many meetings booked and podcast appearances and being in touch with people, constant messaging. And so there was a lot. And even though it was exciting at times, but I was just too much. It was not aligned with what my soul needed, what I needed. And I got kind of red flags or signs already along the way the past couple of months, but I was constantly, when I was recharging a little bit, I was going back to my old ways. And I really, really realized that this week. Coming back to one profound moment, because I was about to actually set up my Bali retreat for October. And I started to feel not great about it. And I was thinking, is it my fear of expansion? Is it because I have not enough people just yet, but it's just in the beginning stages? So that's what I do. I go and reflect. I ask myself these questions. I ponder about it, let it move through me. I do embodiment and movement, all these things. But it started to get really, really heavy. And here's the thing. I actually had someone just wanting to pay me. And it was just coming close to my first deposit payment of the Bali retreat. And now here comes the thing. And so my body started to feel like really depleted. It was a week ago, the Saturday. I was having a great day there was a cool appearance on a webinar with my soul family. They had this about soulmates, and then my soulmate was on there, and it was really powerful. But on that day already, I felt a lot of resistance, and they could pick it up too in my energy field. But I was like, and I was pushing through. And so anyways, and then came Sunday. And then what we usually do in our soul family, we pull like weekly cards, like oracle cards, and just there's always a family card and then our individual cards. So Sari and Maki are doing that at the moment. And so it's always beautiful. And on the day I already didn't use my phone much, which I usually don't do on Sundays. So anyways, I checked the message for the card and I was already like feeling off that day. It was like something wasn't feeling good. And obviously all the physical symptoms, but even in my energy, like everything was just a bit of out of alignment. So I got this card and it was the same card that I already had the week before. And the week before I was like, it was about reassessing my circles. There's someone or something really training me and it's not in alignment to really, really assess it. And I was like, it's interesting because the people I'm surrounded by, as in like, online, that I'm in connection with, they feel kind of aligned. I knew that I was giving a lot of energy outward and I needed to set more boundaries with how much I give, even when people just voice message me or potential clients to not overgive. It's a tendency that I have. So I was like, okay, let's reassess that and be fair with my boundaries so my energy is not leaking. And then when I read this card, there was something coming in. And it was about the Bali retreat. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I didn't want to go there. I did not want to go there. I didn't want it to be that. I was so like in my mind, no, this is going to be amazing. I was really looking forward to it. Also going to Bali by the end of the month. I thought this is where I'm meant to go. But come that moment, I just allowed myself to go there and be like, okay, what if this is not an alignment? What if this is the whole thing that is actually draining me, that was, like really draining my energies and making me tired, all this resistance in my body just trying to tell me that. And because I'm not listening, because I'm so stubborn, it needs to really, really slow me down. And it was interesting because that moment, everything crumbled. First I was, of course, annoyed. I was super annoyed. And I was like, come on, God, universe, please, what the fuck? Can I not have one thing? Why is it so difficult? And I knew that the client wanted to pay me the money the next day on Monday to basically sign up and be in. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, 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 this can't be happening. And I cried. I was on my knees. I literally was, because I think there was also more coming out. Not just that, but it was basically I opened the Pandora box and I let it all happen. I was just like, okay, crumble moment, let it happen, because I was keeping it all together for several weeks. And, I allow myself to have moments and emotions, but I was still operating in my old ways. I was always trying to come back to my old ways whilst my new version of me already was emerging, which I will come back in a second. That was a big realization that I had this week. But anyways, so I was going outside. It was already late. I was going into the hammock. I was like looking at the stars and I was like, okay, God, I was crying. I was literally crying. It was really deep cry. Even now when I'm talking about it, it makes me emotional because it was this moment of death. This is how it felt. I really felt like something is dying. And it may sound maybe a little bit weird or you can't relate when you listen to that, but maybe you can. And I knew that it was far more than, it wasn't really about the Bali retreat. There was a part of me that I was clinging on to and that had to crumble. And that was this message. And don't get me wrong, I was also telling myself, because a card or any reading or any guidance should never feel threatening, never ever. So I always give myself the 24 hours. I sleep over it. But in this very moment, I just need to feel. I said, okay, let's let it be messy. And finally, when I let it all flow through me, I went to bed and doing what I always do. I connect with my soul, with my subconscious through my dream state and ask, hey, the guidance, whatever needs to come through, show me. Whatever I'm not available in my conscious state, just show me and go really deep. I'm ready. Show me everything and what I need to do. And I basically woke up at 4 a.m. Of course, this is when spirit communicates them in the best, clearest way with me. And the energetic space is very clear because most people are asleep. And yeah, then it started. I got all these insights. I had also massive dreams showing me what I need to do, what's going on, what's happening. And it was super, super powerful. It was really uncomfortable. And there was still like a part of me that wanted to hold on to the Bali retreat and to be like, okay, don't make rash decisions. I also have this little rule for myself to not make decisions when I'm in an extreme emotional state, whether it's I'm extremely low or extremely high. It's never good. Always needs to be regulated and neutral. That's something that I learned about myself because I can get really excited very quickly. And then I make decisions in that moment, be like, yay. And then next day, that's not right. So powerful. That's why know yourself. Very important. Anyways, so it was like a whole like things happening, crumbling. And that was also the first time also I was in a state of like emergency with money because that money that was meant to come in was also supporting me for the next couple of weeks. Yeah. And I was depending on that money. I was financially, I was depending to buy food. And of course, that was the part, what is happening if I don't do that? But it was absolutely not matching my integrity. It was not in alignment with the way I'm doing things. And when I reflected back, I already could see all the red flags before because I was never excited before I had meetings about the Bali retreat. My body was, yeah, giving signs. It didn't feel right. And I signed a contract the week before. And before signing, I was like, I don't know. And I was still telling myself in the mind, or maybe it's just because I'm scared. There's a part of me, my limiting beliefs, who am I doing this? And it was never about that I cannot hold that space and have the capacity to hold a retreat. I absolutely do. I'm ready for it. However, right now is not the right time. And I was so strong in my mind, it has to be this way right now. And, you know, and I could see how much I attached myself as well to it. Like it was almost like, this is the thing now. This is my excitement of my life. This is what gets me out there. Because to be honest, guys, I was really looking forward to be with people finally, to actually allow people to feel my energy. I used to teach all the time in person. I love being online, but I was ready to do something in person because everyone around me is doing it and it's amazing. And then I got swept away and be like, hey, let's do that. And it felt great in that moment. But anyways, my learning now is it's not the right time or it's not the right place, which I will tell you in a second why as well. So coming back to that morning, and then I felt I need to connect with my partner. I need to actually allow him to see me in this vulnerable state. And we are still apart and he's still New Zealand. I'm currently in Australia and it is like, okay, call him. Like just call him in this very moment. And that was the most beautiful call we had ever. I know it sounds very counterintuitive because I was crumbling. I was literally lying in bed. I just cried, possibly not being, like just letting go. But the moment of release just opened me up and also it allowed me to be really vulnerable and just authentic. And don't we all love when someone is really authentic and sharing what's going on? And it was the most beautiful call. And it's just like, I can't even describe how our relationship changed and growing our connection deeper. And also how he was just there holding space. And he was a beautiful mirror reflecting back to me, hey, Mia, do you not remember when you started, before you wanted to do the retreat, what you actually told yourself? You won't go ahead until you have 4 people, for example. And also remember this sentence actually you said when you left Bali last year, you don't actually ever want to go back there because of energies that were happening. And for anybody who hasn't read the story or heard the story about Bali, my experience there, I have an episode already way back from last year around September, I guess it is. September, October. And it was just like something. And there were so many things that I was overriding. And yeah, he just reminded me it was super powerful and beautiful. And then it got really clear to me that's what I have to do. And in that moment, I also decided the 2 most important things right now and action steps for me are to get some support for my body. So get financial support, emotional support, so I can actually, get the food, everything I need. for the next 2 weeks be sorted. And so I don't have to worry about showing up for anybody else and doing business in a way like I used to. So I can actually take a step back for a week or whatever, however long I need. And I never have done that. I've never done it from this kind of space because I would usually feel completely guilty. I would always try when I have like a breakdown, and I would always try to come back as quick as possible so I can do the old way again. And when I say sacred pause, I literally stepped away from the social media. I was, of course, the first couple of days, I was still doing little things in the back, and I was in connection with my clients. I was having a podcast, little things, but very limited, very, very limited. And I just wanted to allow my body to fully show me everything. And that's when the work began. That's when I really, firstly, I allowed myself to sleep. My body needed so much more sleep. I've never, honestly, I cannot even explain it to you. I slept like 10 hours. I slept sometimes until 8 or 9. This is unheard of in my life. I'm an early bird. And for me, the longest sleeping in is 7 a.m. actually. But these kind of patterns already started to creep in a couple of months before on off. And of course, I was fighting against it because it felt uncomfortable. It felt like, oh my gosh, I'm getting lazy. What is wrong? What's going on? I can't sleep that long. These kind of things. And now I told myself, you know what, for a week or whatever, allow it. Just let your body guide you. And it was such an amazing, incredible journey and experience. It was super uncomfortable. But at the same time, I'm so grateful I did that. I never knew how much I needed that to really step away and have this bird's eye view. And I saw so many things. I learned so much more about myself, and I connected with Leo, my soul twin flame, deep, 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 because he also took like a pause on that week, and we just had more time to connect, and it was amazing. And the more we connected, the more I was able to allow and receive, and I connected with myself and with my feminine, and my body really, really needed that part because I'm constantly in my masculine and very good at pushing, very good at being disciplined, but I really needed to allow that. And oh my gosh, I cannot tell you guys. And firstly, there is a difference between stop and pause. I just paused. It's not a stop. Then also I realized how I was already like my new version, ways I wanted to do differently, my new identity that I prepared and embodied already all the weeks before was there. She was ready. She was already here. But I was trying to squeeze her back in. I wanted to still operate in my old ways. What I mean by that is like the way I structured my day, the way how I didn't set proper boundaries with clients or people talking online, or how I actually did my online work as well. And yes, I am a solopreneur. For anybody who's out there who's a solopreneur, it is fucking hard at times because you're doing everything. You are the operator and the creator, and you do it all. And yes, posting and social media takes time, it takes energy and lots of things. And at the moment when I stop and pause, that pauses too. Yeah. So that's just the reality, because I don't have a team right now. If I would have had a team, they would still put content out there and everything. However, I'm also very happy that I don't have a team right now, because it gave me really, really the chance to look at, hey, how do I actually want to show up? Am I really being of service with the way I showed up? Not that I wasn't authentic. No, I was raw and authentic and sharing my truth and being vulnerable, but I figured out that I was trying my purpose and the work I do. I was trying to fit it into the template of social media, of Instagram, but it should be the other way around. I should fit social media into my way of working, into my purpose. And it wasn't consciously that I did that. It was really sneakily creeping up from the back. That feeling. And then it hits you. And I was like, I'm getting goosebumps now. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I was doing. Such a profound realization. It's almost like this belief that our soul lives in the body, but our body is actually living in the soul, because the soul is infinite. This kind of realization, this kind of like energy was happening. And I was like, okay, and how can I do it differently? And I was like, I don't know. That was another powerful and profound part, the I don't know state, the blank canvas, the 3 words that most people are fucking scared of. Am I too? Me too. At times. There's just a tiny part of fear, but I'm also knowing that, oh wow, okay, now we are growing. Now we are going to places that actually allow me to go beyond my limitations, to go beyond what I thought was my highest good, the highest best, what I'm capable of doing. And that requires you to let go, to really let go. And I, I am still in the state of like saying, okay, universe, God, show me what's your plan, and to completely let it go. And don't get me wrong, what I'm doing and embodying my quantum embodiment, everything I do, I am the niche. I am absolutely, this is me. I have no doubt about that. But perhaps I have missed some parts. Perhaps there's another way of me showing up for sure. And to be completely open with that. I'm not doubting my abilities. I'm not doubting that that I'm on the wrong path. I just want to be open because I don't want to have this pre-made path by my mind, because that was keeping me in this box, in this like path, in this old architecture and this old way of doing things. And it was super profound to realize this week. And I'm still in the process of now restructuring. I had so many downloads, so much space freed up because I was like letting it go. I did also a massive releasing ritual, which I will tell you one day and another podcast because it's taking up too much space, but really going through my ancestral lineages, which I have done before, but that was different this time. I was really deep and went really deep into the cellular level and was such a powerful like ritual for me. And I took the whole week to actually prepare it and to go deep and to just do that work for myself and to really honor myself. And you know what? Here I'm saying it like your body's your oracle, and put yourself first. You always come first because this vessel, our body holds everything. And if we are depleted, then we cannot give. And I realized that I was trying to give from a depleted state. And that's why I was even of course, over giving. And that is also a reflection of me and my bank account. When you always go back to zero, that means like I'm always allowing myself to be depleted. And now also the body was responding. I am allowing this. I am allowing to be depleted. And I saw so many energy leakages for myself and very sneaky that they are creeping in. And now I'm so grateful for this. I'm absolutely grateful, as uncomfortable as it was at the beginning to let go. But once you let go, you flow, you just riding the wave, and then everything is totally happening for you. And I wanted to share this because I know that so many people are going through processes and they're always afraid. And then, yeah, there's always this messy middle part. And I can tell you the beginning of the week was, when I say easy, once I let go, I was like, yeah, I wasn't worried not being on social media or doing less. My body just needed it. There was no way. And then the moment I got charged up a little bit, interesting to see, I wanted to go back to the old. Let's go. Now I can do things again. Go, go, go. Contact this person. Do this. Put on social media. Create a story. La, la, la. And I was like, not good. The old self wants to come back. This is the hard part. This is where I usually would go back to the old. This is where I would usually jump on things. Also with my energy, I'm very impulsive. I need to act on things right away, which can be beneficial at times, but can also be my downfall at times. So I was like, okay, just breathe. You told yourself minimum a week, so stick to it. Stick to that promise you gave. Remember, words create the energy and the frequency in your body. And I gave that promise to myself, to my body, so it will remember if I break it. So I said, okay, I'm not missing out. I'm not missing out, because it would be foolish to think that because something I built over the past 3 years, how can it crumble? Or how can I miss out when I'm not on Instagram for a week or post a story or whatever? So that was also a story that I attached myself to and created. And I'm sure many, many people, solopreneurs who are online, can relate to that. And so, yeah, that was the messy middle part. And then I realized, keep that energy so I can actually go deeper within myself and can work on myself and actually invest it in myself rather than always going to the external right away. So it was super amazing to do that because I received so many insights, so many more downloads for myself, what I need to do, what my next steps are. And it was just so beautiful to have all these revelations. And don't get me wrong, my old self, the fear, doubt, things, my mind would try to go into the future, be like, but Mia, what's happening next week? What is happening after? What are you doing? Where are you going? Where's the money coming from? And so on and so forth. And guilt about the Bali retreat as well. There was a part of me that thought, oh, maybe I'm a failure. Maybe I'm just retreating now because I think I'm not good enough. And what am I doing? What was I thinking? Why did I jump into this? All very natural thoughts and processes that are coming up and showing up. But it's really important to be aware. And because I allowed the space, and I'm also someone, I like to go really deep, and I do this, and I'm allowing to go to the shadows, into the void, and to everything. It was so profound and beautiful for me to see. It was like a whole, honestly, you can imagine like a whole clearing, cleansing process, which is still going. So I'm also not rushing back into things, but guys, I have so many creations in the background, and it's just beautiful to do things out of because I love it, not because I'm pressured into things, and just the allowing the crumbling. I know it sounds so counterintuitive, but to really, really just allow that. And then you can look at everything and take a good inventory and be like, okay, this is actually serving me, but this is not serving me. And yeah, it can be a scary place to be in, but for me, it's exciting. Right now, it's absolutely exciting to be in this blank canvas again and to see, okay, where is it guiding me? And to absolutely trust again myself, and to come back home, and to allow my body to be my oracle truly, and to fully listen, trust, and act on it. And at the moment, my capacity is much smaller, and to honor that as well. So I have a different flow. I do little bits and pieces, but then I have to regulate again a lot and do the things that I do, like nature, movement, meditation, yoga, nourishment. My body needs the biological support now as well, and the physical support a lot, and being okay with that. And I was fighting it. I was fighting it for so, so long. And now I really allow it. And my gosh, my creation energy, life force energy came back, even though my body still needs a lot of rest. Yeah. But just my creational and life force energy came back. I'm so excited to just create, to write. I love writing. I love writing poems. I love doing those things. And yes, they have nothing to do with my business as such or something to get something out of it. It's pure joy. And this is something I haven't allowed myself to do for a long time without the need. There's purpose for my business, or purpose to share, or purpose to put it on social media, whatever. And so I let go of this old clothing that I was trying to squeeze myself in and fit myself in, and also see the sun is going down right now. So guys, this is also a sign from God. Hey, Mia, stop talking. That's half an hour. And it was a lot to share, but I really wanted to share with you guys because I wanted you to be able to experience me in my journey, and to take some nuggets out of this, to really, really tune in. And that always things are happening for us, and we get the signs before. We're just so good at ignoring it and being fully disconnected. So yeah, I hope this is powerful for you. Again, I'm here. I'm just a little bit more in the background at the moment because that's what's required. That's just the season. There is something brewing, something big is coming. I can feel it, and I'm excited. So yeah. But I'm still available for my one-on-one sessions for all my containers that you can find on my website. My quantum embodiment is still my signature program. And I work with your soul, with your unique soul brand, which I'm always excited about. I always learn something new. Yeah, it's very unique, the approach. And for you to come back home, to remember your own power, to stop outsourcing your power. This is what it's all about. So if you're interested, you can comment below, connect with me directly, jump on my website, whatever. And I'm also planning another 7-day embody experience where you can come in, and it's for free, where you will get beautiful resources, but I will keep you posted about that. And for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. And I love you all, guys. And please comment. I always love comments and love to have engagement and even polarity and questioning. It's beautiful to have conversations with you. Until next time, I love you.